Hi, I'm Joe Super. I'm from Rives. I've been wondering lately when I started saying that I'm from Rives because no, I wasn't born here. No, I didn't necessarily grow up here. I'm from Metro Detroit. My parents moved us out of Detroit to South Warren. Grew up there. Joe Beth and I have been together for 16 years. We lived here and there, Waterford, Detroit. We started a family about 8 years ago. I've got three boys running around over here, and they're pretty much the reason why we found ourselves in Rives. We were in a small community west of Pontiac, and that was our first house, even though it had axles underneath it. And we found ourselves in a position where we weren't sure about the future of the property and the property management, and weren't happy with our local city council. They were actually the developer of the trailer park land, and we started saving up, creating a credit score for ourselves, and started driving every weekend just about 2 hours in any given direction, with Atlas being just about to turn 2 and our middle kid a handful of months old, still breastfeeding, so that's some really good car trips. And rather than stay in the city and have a quarter-acre lot for the same price, we found ourselves looking around this area. Found ourselves just down the street here at Smith and Palmer. We've been here since 2019, right before the pandemic. Got a new house, a new job down at TAC, working midnight. Did that for a year and a half. It was pretty miserable, but I bet a lot of you have had friends and family working at TAC and can relate. Pretty much everything that I've experienced since moving to Rives has made me not regret the decision. Things that have made me realize that this isn't just a geographic location, but a community. The Monday after we moved here, after getting our keys, I was at my first board meeting because that's when we still had the question in the air about the power plant coming to Rives. And just a constant litany of meeting new, helpful, friendly people around. It might have been Jerry himself not too long after moving here. I was walking down the street in the cold weather with one of our young ones, and somebody in an Avery truck stopped to make sure that I wasn't stranded and walking down the road. And I'm just glad to have met everybody that I have, and I'm looking forward to meeting more and working for and with everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. This is Carol, and I am Carol Schultz. I recognize you today. I live on the north side of the township, and I have a horse farm up there. I also give riding lessons and training and things like that. But my primary career over the years was I worked at the state of Michigan for 30 years as a financial analyst and accountant. And then I thought I would retire from the state, and then took a job as the CFO with a nonprofit. And then I thought I would retire again. And then someone came to me and said, would you be our treasurer? We need a new treasurer. So in October of last year, I took on the role of treasurer for Rives Township. I've been here for 30 years. I'd like to think that I'm a lifelong resident, but I'm still an implant. So you've been here 30 years, according to some people. But so anyways, when I took my position in October, there was a lot of work to do and a lot of things to reorganize and clean up. And my goal has been to clean up the treasury side of and actually the whole thing, because everything was a little bit disarray. But also to instill confidence in the residents again, because I know in last summer I heard a lot of things about the taxes that they had in Pleasant Lake, and they didn't know if they were taking payments and that was it. So that was my priority. And I'd like to have another 4 years to have that opportunity to continue to grow the community. One of my primary goals for this summer and this fall is to change electronic payments and debit and credit cards, and just kind of move the township forward into the future. So I welcome all your questions.
Mary, you want to introduce yourself? Okay. My name is Mary Miller. I've lived here with my husband for 48 years. The farm's been in the family for almost 100 years. And I just think that we need change, and I would love to keep continuing in the parks, improve this property, get us a decent bathroom, and try to stop some of the stuff that's been going on in this culture. We need to move forward. We need to have everybody get along again. And I know it's there, and I know we can do it. And I'd like the opportunity to represent people and move this forward. I appreciate it.
Right?
Well, I wasn't planning on speaking, but Bryce Hammond.
Speak up, Bryce.
Come on, Bryce.
I'm Bryce Hammond. I'm a trustee. First-time politician 4 years ago. I hate the word politician, but I have to become one. I grew up, for the most part, most of my life here. Had to move out of state to find work because of recession, depression, whatever, during the early 80s. And I made a mark where I was at and had enough investments that I could stand back up here and I built my dream home. And my wife didn't have the same dream, I guess, and so she said bye and moved back to Texas. I've continued to stay here and try to get involved in local, again, there's that word politics, but I have the opposite impression of basically, I think somebody should do the best job they can, get out,
and which, if any, are directed by the township board, what conclusion do they come to? Pardon?
I already state that if you'll let me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim.
My question to all of you, but directed to specifically apparently, is which commissions or boards do the township board appoint? And is it proper for them, if so, what decisions should be directed by the board for those commissions or boards to come to? Okay. Is that proper? Directed to conclusion. That's the job of you.
I think part of what Jim's saying is, and we'll go to the planning commission first. The planning commission can give, the township board can give the planning commission directive as far as we need to look into solar, we need to look into wind energy, things like that. But as far as to be able to, come to a conclusion prior to you guys meeting on it would be, incorrect. And we've had that happen. As far as the ZBA, that committee is 100% on their own. They those handle any type of zoning board of appeals, whether it be a property line, wanting to build a building and the property line is too close. They need a variance, different things like that. Their decision is solely final. There's no, they have to take that to court. If the resident does not like that, they have to go to court to answer, that. Board of review, there again, no direction from the township board. All the committees are my appointments that I bring forward. It's up to the board to approve that appointment. And I say I as the supervisor. No board member can be replaced unless I bring, they either step down or I find somebody to replace them. Or in the case of a death, then I would find somebody to replace them. There again, my appointment with the board has. Jim, I don't know if that answers your question, but.
So I guess you asked if it was proper, and I would definitely, as what he was saying is how you were questioning it. No, I don't think it would be proper for the board to approve something ahead of time of, the planning commission bringing it to us. I don't find that it should be proper for really any board, commission, committee, for the board to even make a decision without hearing everything fully and having all the facts what we have in front of us. You, as you being on the planning commission, you have an important job, and you should have time, and you should have resources, and you should have the opportunity to present everything that you found, so that decisions can be made based off the facts and not opinion. So I hope that answers.
Reasonably close.
Okay, Miss Mary. Looking at the past and toward the future of Rives. Sorry, nothing's going to come in here. Could you please tell us what qualities you feel are the most important to the position of supervisor? I think the qualities are being fair, being able to hear different sides, listening to the concerns of the financial processes, and use organizational methods. All of these are required in the clerk's position.
So I haven't had a white collar office job that was very directly attaining to accounting. It's something that I would consider one of my soft skills, that I have a really strong organizational mind in terms of following procedure. The clerk's statutory duties are primarily that of record keeping. I'm keeping the township records, the book of oaths, conducting elections. These are all a lot of things that have right and wrong answers. A lot of my jobs have been technical, where there is right and wrong answers, or there's specifications, or there's tolerances. I've had jobs where I'm building devices that are life and safety. Like I used to build sensors for a gas station. If I don't do my job, things go boom. That's bad. In the last 3 years, I've done some contracting work within the medical marijuana industry, and that obviously is something that has legal repercussions. That's something where I'm doing accounting and logging and registration. And that job in particular has also given me the most direct responsibility and experience with working with people, leading and forming organization, and either having the answer or knowing where to find it to make sure that something is completed both efficiently and very much correctly.
Okay, Mary Hall. If selected, one of your statutory duties is to deal with the township audit, as well as state and federal processes. With that said, is it to your benefit to have experienced people in the clerk and treasurer positions rather than someone who has no experience?
I mean, of course, having experience is a great thing. The only way people get experience is to have the chance to learn and to have that experience. Of course, it would be beneficial. I do feel there are other resources out there that could help in those situations and that would be willing to help. So, I don't feel that anybody wants anything to fail. And I know that people would step in to help the best they could. There are other townships that would be willing to help, give advice. There's a lot of, you can go to the state level, get questions answered, and get help. So while it would be a challenge, either way, with whichever candidate makes it for any of these positions, if everyone can work together, then anything can be accomplished.
Okay, Mary, have you done an analysis of cost to the township, like police, establishing a budget to monitor the payment from state to township, a payment of tax income inspections needed, and incentives in the township for both dispensaries and grows?
I have not done a cost analysis. I have looked into some of, the information that is out there and easily accessible. When it comes to the topic of a dispensary or grow, I will right now flat out say I do not agree that we need any grow operation around here. Just for the simple fact of the smell. I don't like the smell. I think if, we're a small community, we're not huge, it would affect a lot of people's lives in their homes. As far as the dispensary goes, do I honestly think that we need one? Well, no, nobody, I guess I shouldn't say nobody needs one, but, there's so many so close by. Does the idea of the revenue that it would bring into the township, is that a great idea? Sure. But if it's something that the people of the community do not want, then I don't want it. I don't want anything that the community as a majority does not want. We're not going really, that's ultimately a decision that needs to be left up to the community.
Jerry, what are your feelings on allowing a gravel pit or pits to operate in Rives?
We have one right now down on Rowell Road, at the end of River Lane. That was one that was established by Wilson Brothers, probably back in the '60s. That is the only active pit, and I say active, let me correct that, it is not active. It's actually inactive. But as far as having a new one, I think that the soils would determine whether or not a pit would be, suitable for the area. But as far as, I know Grass Lake just went through this. Jim and I have talked about this. We don't decide where aggregate is in the ground, the soil. Now, if somebody came to us and says, hey, we want to look into this, there again, it's got to go through the process. It's got to go through the planning commission. It's got to go through the township board. So me as a whole, sitting here right now today, I wouldn't be able to say yes or no. Gravel pit would be operated in an ag district with a conditional use the way it stands today. But as far as being for it or against it, it depends on where it's at and who it's going to affect.
Okay, Carol, you haven't had anything, so we'll give this to you. What are the top 3 things you want to accomplish while you hold your position?
Top 3 things. Well, I've already mentioned credit cards and electronic payment. That is one of my principles. And I think that one of the other things that is a priority for me is the Parks Committee has a really good start on getting the playground equipment. They have talked about what they'd like coming up into the future. And so that's also important to me, is possibly getting some grants, finding some money that's outside of our budget, if there isn't a lot of wiggle room, so that we can do a larger scale of what they're doing.
Excuse me. I actually asked that question, and I wanted all of them. You get 3 questions. Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. Okay. Well, I just wanted everybody, if that's my only question, I actually wanted to hear that from you. I know, that's why we have 3 questions. Okay. Whatever, then ask 2 of the other people, I guess. Any other 2 people want to answer it or no? What are the top 3 things that you want to accomplish while you fill this position? Accomplish being one more of these words.
She has one more thing to accomplish. My other thing is that the clerk position and the treasurer's position is somewhat tied in the fact that the clerk handles the general ledgers, the treasurer handles the receipts, and the checks. I want to see streamlined between the 2 offices so that you like. So a few things that I would like to see accomplished. First thing is, I know when it comes to ordinances, a lot of it's with the planning commission, it's kind of split up, things like that. But we do have some ordinances that really do affect lives that are not where they should be. They're not written properly. The legal terms of them are just kind of ways to get around certain things. So I think that that's something that definitely needs to be looked at. I think the planning commission should be encouraged to do that. Other thing, again, I am part of the Parks Committee. I was one of the founding members of that. And I know I've heard a lot of, well, who's going to pay for this? Who's going to pay for that? And we had to take from last year's budget to this year's budget just to get what's up there. And you see what's up there, and while it's beautiful and we put in a lot of work, it's not a lot. It's very expensive. That sitting up there is $20,000. And that took 2-year budget to do. So like with Carol, I want to work on grants. I want to work on growing something for our community to have a place to go. I've heard, well, people don't use it, but people would use it. My daughter's getting ready to graduate high school next year. I would love more than anything to be able to rent this pavilion and have a party here and not have a mess to clean up at home later and just take the trash to the dump when I'm done. I would love for other families to be able to do that. You can't do that. We don't have a restroom down here. You just can't. That, again, having something available for people to rent for family reunions, for graduation parties, that in turn gives revenue to the township because you are paying to rent the space. So yeah, that's that. The third thing I'd like to accomplish is I would really like to see more community togetherness. I would like to see more community events. I would like Rives to be what Rives was when I was a child. We used to have block parties. Everybody knew each other. We all got along for the most part. Of course, everybody's going to have respect. Not everybody's always going to be happy. But we had togetherness, and I just don't see that anymore.
And then the last person I would ask, I'm not going to come up with it. Jerry, I know you will.
Yeah, I'd love to. So there again, the clerk's position has statutory duties. It's black and white. You're doing your job or you're not. Beyond that, I think that the clerk is also a real focal point in terms of our local government. You have just a general idea that everything kind of touches base off of the clerk, and I think that being a linchpin is something that I would excel at. I'd like to see more information exchange between our handful of officers, appointees, and committees, and see everybody work together, of course. I'd also like to see more direction beyond just doing the job. Like Mary said, we'd like to see Rives as a destination. I've got young kids. I'm going to be working on things that benefit families like mine. There's people that I'm personal friends with specifically because they have young families. Let's keep those kids busy. There's not a lot of else to do in Rives. We're not going to the theater. We're not going to go-karts, but even if you don't know me personally, perhaps you've seen me walking around in Rives. I'm probably one of the most frequent players up at this playground, and I'm really glad to see the improvements. And, things like just Halloween. Here I am spending 45 minutes at home to make sure that all the Rives trick-or-treaters are covered, and that's all the time that it takes. And then we pack it up to Leslie. Why am I going out of town for something that's community-based? I think that there's a lot of room to encourage people to get together, and it's these simple things that everybody would love to do on an individual basis for themselves, who may not even realize how many different people would love to participate once they hear that somebody is providing a path and direction for that. And even though it's really not something that's specifically a duty of a township clerk, I think that the clerk is in the position to provide that kind of guidance towards building more community, because community is just one of the main reasons why I enjoy being a Rives citizen. I guess a third. What else could there be? I'd like to, in the last handful of years since I've been here, how many times have you heard the word transparency from all directions? I love the Freedom of Information Act and public information. I love that I can reach out and how many LLCs have you ever registered, Terry? We can find out. I think that all of our records should be available practically like a lemonade stand. I'd like to see that the office is appropriately staffed for citizens to have a question. If you'd like to reach back and check on your own property card and find out how that has changed or been used differently by prior owners, sure, that's great. I need to go look at my property cards and find out when they demolished those houses and what the specific reasons were. I want that kind of information. Again, if I don't know the question, I'm going to know where to find it and who to contact for those resources. And I want to be the conduit. So, not necessarily transparency, because there's not a lot of transparency per se to something like that. The information is there, but I'd like to improve our accessibility, and I'd like the office to be the sort of spot where you know that we're going to have people working there, and you are more than welcome to stop in and present your questions.
Okay, Joe. Yeah, I got another question for you. Have you ever worked in an election? If not, why, since running an election is important and a statutory duty of the clerk? I guess they're wanting to know if you're familiar with all the work and everything behind it.
So, no, I have not helped out with an election since I moved here. I've done some political work while working for a national nonprofit, Clean Water Action, some phone banking, some door-to-door, both on partisan politics and candidates and on nonpartisan issues. This was a dozen years ago, so there was a lot of focus on windmills in Michigan back when that seemed like a more viable technology. Now we've seen a lot more solar technology catch up on that. The one thing that I do have to my advantage in terms of working for an election is that the election laws have changed a lot recently, and it's something that even established clerks are practically starting at base one on, and it'll be something that I will be able to learn at the same time as everybody else and reach out for assistance in getting caught up on that. Even though I am starting at square one, researching something is something I personally enjoy. I like looking into the intricacies of our legislature and procedures and finding efficiency in that and compliance. I haven't had too many jobs where you start off with a bunch of training and then, okay, day one when you're expected to actually do your job, you know what to do. Almost everything that I've ever done has been trial by fire, learn on the fly, pick up the basics as quick as possible, and reach out for help on the finer issues. And I don't see the clerk's position being a lot different on that. I'll have resources to look into and getting caught up on running an election, and I know a lot of people that have volunteered and participated in our election are people that have been doing it, and I will be able to look to them for guidance. Where do we get coffee and donuts from? That's going to be important. I'm joking, but I am very serious. It's something that I am not intimidated by.
Thank you.
Can I interrupt for a real quick second? I'm going to break the rules for a minute. I'm sorry. I just want Joe to be able to clarify something for a quick second, because I don't want people to leave here with hurt feelings at all. I know the topic of Halloween got brought up and how not much happens here. Takes about 45 minutes. I just want to call out that Red Barn does put a lot of money and time into it, but it's going to take more than just Red Barn and then a few other residents to really grow Rives back up for Halloween for something for the kids, so that we don't have to take our kids home.
And that wasn't meant for recognition, because
when
they say nothing happened,
right.
It does.
I get it, and you needed, you guys, I know you guys do. I've brought my kids have been through it, not my grandkids because they don't live here, but I would totally take them. You guys do a great job. I just wanted to clarify that I don't think that Joe meant that in any way, shape, or form, that nothing happens at all, because there is, but it's got to take everybody. It has to take an entire community to make these things. That's all. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, that was perfect.
No,
But I just want to say, I buy a bunch of candy and decorate every year. Nobody ever comes to my house. I'm coming to your house. Okay, Carol. How will the office stay open often enough to allow residents the ability to plan a trip there without an appointment? I have consistently done Wednesdays and Thursdays every week. And one of the reasons that right now it's limited to 2 days is that the residents love to come into the town But I have been in the office several other days of the week. Like I was in there this morning at 9 o'clock and came home at 1:30 and took a shower and blah, blah, blah. But right now we're open from 11 to 6 on Wednesdays, and I opened up a couple hours in the late afternoon for people who work and get home after 5. And then on Thursday from 11 to 4. And I am always available via email or via phone, preferably email right now because sometimes the phone is a little wonky. But call me, and if I've had people say, hey, I can't make it there until blah, 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 or can you meet me on such and such a day, and I'd be happy to do that. Joe, you'll be a newbie to this maybe. What do you think? What's your opinion on the office hours?
Well, I already touched on that I'd like the office to be a resource for people and their burning questions. I can hardly make it out of BP without making a new friend sometimes. So I can understand. I can definitely relate to that. But I do want it to be something where people are comfortable making appointments and finding out the information that they need. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be fully staffed, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, just where people can drop in like that. But I think that the situation where you don't feel like you can come knock on the door or you consistently find it locked is the opposite end of the spectrum to being an all-the-time social club, and I don't think it would be difficult to find a happy medium in that to make sure that people do feel welcome, people do have access to the information while we're still accomplishing and getting work done.
Okay, Mary, new popularity tonight. How will you address the discord and drama in this community?
There's enough of that. I think that sometimes just having, I don't want to say a middle person, but kind of a middle person to kind of be like, okay, I guess the best way to put it. I have this really good ability of being able to see both sides of the situation and coming up with a plan to move forward in a more productive manner. Right now, as of the last few days, the drama on Facebook has been, I won't even read it all because it's too much back and forth. There's rumors going around. The best way to get rid of all of this drama is to just go to the source and talk about it. If anybody has questions about me, things they've heard, please, I have business cards here with my phone number. Call me, ask me, because I am an open book and I'm honest. If there's things that I've done in my life that probably weren't the greatest, I will be 100% upfront and I will answer that honestly. I don't have secrets to hide, so please just come right to me. And I feel like if we all could just go to each other with our problems or with our grievances productively, not screaming, that doesn't get us anywhere, anything could be solved.
Gary, if you were reelected, what changes would you like to see?
Joe said, having the township office be a welcoming destination, okay? And we've had that in the past, and that's one thing that I don't know that the general public understands. We as a board cannot dictate office hours for any of the officials, any of the appointed or elected officials. We could hire a staff person or a secretary, however you want to label it. We could hire somebody that manned that location set hours a day, every day. But as far as, us sitting here saying that the clerk and the treasurer have to be there from 8 to 4, 4 days a week, that's impossible to do. It's not, the statutes don't allow us to do that as board members. So we do, that would be one thing that I would like to see change. I would like to see more of a cohesive working relationship. And please don't get me wrong, because Carol and Priscilla, they're in there. And Priscilla's got some crazy hours, but it's because she works. And that, kind of scrambles things up a little bit. I think she works more Saturdays and Sundays than she does during the week. And please don't, Priscilla is, she's done a great job. Same thing with Joe. Joe, if you were to get in there, I'm sure you could do just fine. It's, communication. We got to keep communication line. And it doesn't matter if it's the residents, the board members, the committee members. We just have to have that. And I agree with what Mary said. If you've got a question for me, I don't know of anybody that has ever been able to find me. Okay? It doesn't matter if it's, you stop at my house, you call my cell phone, you call my house phone. Call me and ask me. But I kind of scratch my head when somebody will call me and say, hey, I heard on Facebook that somebody is looking to ask a question, and they go to Facebook. Well, why wouldn't that person just go to the person that they need, that would know the answer? But instead they go to Facebook, and I don't think that's necessarily the right avenue to take. Now, there again, if you're calling to see, hey, what time's that garage sale on Palmer Street? Okay, that's fine, but not if you want a real true township answer. Call one of the officials that are on the board, and it doesn't matter, it could be any five of us. If one of us doesn't know the answer, we'll find the answer, we'll get back to it.
It's 4 o'clock. I don't know what time you need to leave.
Well, I'm good. I'm having fun.
Okay.
It's only my kid.
Both Bryce and Mary have opened themselves up, so if you have a nice question you would like to ask them, please get up and ask them. We're done with them. That's all? Well, some of them might. No questions?
Sure, I have one.
Okay. Well, I see role of a trustee. I'm looking for you. I represent the people. And that I have to also make a judgment of something that is good for everybody. Not just my feelings or whatever. And I want to hear what you guys are saying. And what. That's why in the Parks and Rec, we sent out that questionnaire to ask you, what do you want to see? This is a beautiful pavilion. And it's a beautiful playground. And it's not being used. And we need a bed. And we sent that questionnaire out. I hope everybody returns that. So that we have an opportunity to look at that, okay, the majority of the people would like this done. And I want to represent everybody. I want things done in this country, like Halloween. And if you look at the questions we had on there, like food trucks, trick or treat, Easter egg, we're looking for ideas, trust people to come help us. But I also want to be on this to understand the whole workings of this concept and soften it. It's got to calm down. We are all at each other, and as Jerry said, Facebook is, I don't even read it. If you got a question, come to me. I'll tell you the truth instead of 4 times over when it gets on Facebook. So that's my bad. Sure.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Myers. Moved in, what's it been, 20-some years ago. Over where the potato farm used to be back in the 80s. At the horses and pigs. Jerry, you said that you didn't understand why people go to Facebook instead of calling people. That's the way that people do it nowadays. I mean, I'm an old timer and I'm more familiar with just getting a hold of the person, but the younger set
relies on the information technology that they have available to them through the miracle of modern technology, the cell phone. And I'd like to know what the township is going to do towards getting that information technology utilized. That would have to be something. Now, I know that we have a Facebook page. There again, I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know how active it is. I don't even know who's in charge of it right now. You tell me, Oxborough, Carol.
I was the last post about taxes.
Okay, so we do have something. Now, obviously, that's something we need to work towards, getting more information out there through that. I know we have used Joe Best's website or Facebook page for, you know, when important things have come up. We have reached out to her to make sure that things get posted because we know that there is a following out there on that Facebook. But that would be the only thing. We just, you know, on our end, we just need to make sure that we get as much information out there as we possibly can.
What's the page for Rives? The Facebook page, what's it called? I think it's just Rives Township.
I think so.
Okay, I should know this because I posted it, but, okay, yeah. Okay. But
Now, is that group under the township control, or is that something that you guys post to? It belongs to the township,
it belongs
and,
to the township.
okay.
Well, we don't have internet, but it is. If you look at your Rives Township, you should have a Facebook page that comes up along with the website. Okay. And it actually, if you go to the website, there's a little Facebook logo now, and you can just do that. Okay. Back to. Does everybody know that though? I mean, how has it been conveyed to the community that's there? Well, I'm hoping people will go to the website, see if you haven't been to the website, it's been updated, and there's more access to all kinds of things.
So this seems to be a very controlled setting way to handle things, and it feels like in the past things weren't addressed directly. And that's why a lot of these things ended up on social media and Facebook like we're addressing here today. So what is the more beneficial or better way that everybody can get their questions and their grievances aired out in more of a back and forth type thing?
I think that.
Call me. Stop up and see me. Flag me down. Flag me down while I'm driving by. Yeah. That's, I mean, right, with me, that's, I mean, you know, John, I can't even tell you how many times you and I talked. 35 times. And that's probably being generous. And John and I, we went back and forth on the road situation up with the property split on his drive. And John still to this day doesn't like the outcome of where it's at. But the bottom line is we did spend a lot of time on the phone. It wasn't anything that we dodged. You know, it's a situation that happened, and, you know, and here we are. So that's what I say. You know, for me, anybody, call my cell phone, call my house phone. I will return your call if I do not answer. I'm not going to answer the house phone. I never answer the house phone. My wife answers the house phone.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, I never do.
And you know, Gary, in your little package that gave y'all, there's an index card. So if you wanted to hand out any information, and I've got some more to use for, so y'all could get the correct number off.
Yeah, Donna. Do you have the correct number now, Donna?
Yeah, I mean, the website has everybody on the board's contact information. I don't know if everybody's phone number's on there, but emails are on there. I know that anytime I've emailed anybody, I have called Jerry plenty of times, but he's called me plenty of times. He does answer. I answer. But I mean, I think an important thing too for people to be able to air out their grievances, I think that they need to be brought to the board, and I think that town hall meetings that allow that type of thing need to happen, because nobody on the board really can do anything based off of decisions of just a couple people that decided to call them. It needs to be. What's that? Right. They are posted on
Yeah, they're on
So if you're not looking at those things, the only place you're gonna get them is go back because she lives up at the bulletin board. Like we should probably put her at that.
Legally, those meetings have to be posted. The township website has enough of a reach that that is one of your avenues, and the other one to definitely keep track of that is it's always going to be up at the bulletin board. The clerk could choose to publish it in the local newspaper, which basically is only the Citizen Patriot, and they have been toning down their publication, and I don't know what their reach is anymore. But something like that where we're doing a better job with outreach and keeping everybody aware of when that would be. I think in terms of accountability for people with personal, individual issues that they'd like to speak to an official about, like Jerry said, give them a call. You're more than welcome to say whatever you want for 3 minutes at any given public meeting. But there again, it's not necessarily Q&A, and the board is not required to respond to you in any way. The other thing that you can do is get yourself put onto an agenda by contacting one of your elected officials. Then the board can address you, and there won't be a 3-minute time limit. So you can say what you need to. If you feel that there's not enough accountability and you're not reaching your officials and appointees in a timely manner, go ahead and let that be known at township meetings. The board can address your issues by putting it onto the agenda, and that does become a back and forth. But yes, I see what you mean where you don't really know what's coming up, but that is something that is a statutory duty of the clerk, and there are specific black and white ways that has to be posted within a certain time frame. Right now, your best bet is to stop up at the bulletin board whenever you drive on by and see what's been posted lately.
And if you want to benefit the website, please go there. It's a wealth of information.
Big change.
All kinds of things.
Is that posted on the board, on the website itself? When you say website.
just Rives Township.
Board. Thank you.
And one thing I just discovered in the last hour sitting here next to Joe. Joe, if you and I get elected, you're too loud. You're going to have to set you up. Christ,
I'm not loud. I project.
There you go.
I'm deaf in this ear now, just so you know.
So if you have questions about building permits or cemeteries or board meetings or the dump, I see lots of things on Facebook about what hours of the dump are open. That's on our Facebook page. That's also on the website. It never changes.
And something else too, I'm sorry, Don.
No, please, go for it.
Something else I'd like to say when we were talking about committees and planning commission, the ZBA, the board review. There's been a misconception around the public, in the township that I only pick my friends for these committees. What is there again? It's a little bit skewed because most of these people that get picked, I know them, I'm acquaintances of them, but they don't become my friends until after they're on these committees and we're together for a couple years. We just added, I couldn't make the meeting, I was out of town last week. We just added 2 members to the ZBA as alternates. And I gotta tell you, I don't know either one of them. I spoke with them both on the phone. They came recommendations of Roger DeCamp. They both seem like they really want to be involved. And one of the things that Roger had said, which makes perfect sense, and Jim, you'll appreciate this. If and when the time came that we needed somebody to fill a spot on the planning commission, it would be a great resource to reach over and grab one of those alternates and say, hey, how would you like to come up, to the planning commission? I don't know of anybody, to be honest with you, right now. She's calling me out. You're not calling me out? Okay. I thought she was going to call me out. I guess I made a mistake. Her husband, Chris, him and I were friends before he did go on the board of review.
But he's not.
No, he's not. We can still be, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Jerry, I came a little late here, so I don't know, maybe somebody did press something online, drama on Facebook and try to keep out of it. But what is the number one thing that you hear from people that they feel is a problem in Rives Township? And have you heard any of these people talk about solving any of it?
I would say the number one problem that I get phone calls on, I mean, I get calls on everything, but the one that I probably get I can't get a hold of anybody at the end, okay? And that's not, like I said, that's not Carol's fault, it's not Priscilla's fault, it's the way the system is set up. They, you know, Priscilla has to pick her days to work because of her real job. Carol's got Wednesday and Thursday, well, they'll call me on Monday. And I'm like, well, send her an email, or, you know, stop in and see her Wednesday afternoon. But yeah, that's the number one thing, and I want to back up. You know what the number one thing I used to hear about?
Well, probably well, everybody got it.
Oh, no, that was for a spell, yes. The fire department. Those were the calls I used to get all the time, was on the fire department. And you know, we don't get any calls anymore because of the fire department. Those guys, we've got the right guys in the right place, and they're doing a great job, and they continue to do a great job, and they're committed, and it's a breath of fresh air to know that that's not taken care of. I'm
blaming it on her now. Hey, may I interrupt? Please. Okay, this lady mentioned something about the drama on the Facebook. Okay, maybe we need to do a meet and greet of all the businesses in town. Let the people meet them instead of getting on and dogging one. There's 120 comments, you know, I kept my cool. But for somebody to get on and degrade another business, we're wanting to improve this community.
She's never supported us, so.
We need to have something where Mary's sitting here stating, we need to improve this community. You don't do it by degrading somebody. And I'm not still talking about, I've seen other things happen or whatever. When you're saying you have more functions go on, have the businesses do a meet and greet. They're really not bad people. Yeah, the flags were a little unsacked, but you know, it's okay.
I love that idea, actually.
It's
That's a great idea.
Here
no,
brought
because
up.
it killed me because I couldn't what I wanted.
I would have. Yeah, I know.
Well, we're a business in this town, and none of you support us, so why?
No, it's okay, yeah.
But the person that quoted it was saying, well, they didn't know the hours. It's right on the door.
Everybody well?
Walk up to the door, you'll know the hour. Does anyone have a question for Bryce? No.
Yeah, how's your dad? Oh. He's still with your sister? Okay.
I have a question for Bryce.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Bryce. Okay, why at almost every single meeting you both go? Everything.
No.
No. Yeah, no, see?
I think they were going 2 times at the last meeting I was.
I'm not talking the last meeting, I'm talking in
My average was about 2.
most of the time you vote no.
Okay. Well, it kind of depends on the thing.
Depends
Anybody
on
else have anything? I do. Bryce?
Now I forgot what it was.
What one thing would you say needs improvement on the board? What would you like to see improved on the board? And speak up, please.
I am going to try. I've got to learn I've got to take some lessons from Joe. I made a motion over 2 years ago to have the agenda for the East County meeting posted with the members no later than 72 hours before. And the majority voted on that, and it has yet to happen since that time. And I keep bringing it up, as I did at the last meeting. And I got no response from the clerk. I'm know Jerry's stock was cautious. It's a work in progress. Yes, it is. But you got some kind of idea of what's on the agenda 3 days in advance. Give that to us. Anything else that comes along, give it a holler and say, here's the other stuff. It's not that hard. Okay? I think they like to keep us in the dark. That's the biggest problem.
Okay.
There's times when I got less than 4 hours before I have to go and vote on something.
Anybody else? They have their chance. The way some of them phrased it, they were on the guard, they weren't going to be asked that way. Guard. But I don't want to start any more trouble. I want communication. But so if no one has anything else,
I appreciate everybody coming out. I've got business cards in my pocket. If you'd like to use my personal cell phone number or give me an email, I'd be more than willing to make some time to meet up with you. I'm available. I'm just down the street. I do try and work full time, but I'll make time for you for anything that might have occurred to you or anything that you'd like to have a more extensive conversation about. Then Stoutman and Jerry's right here. You're more than welcome to reach out. And my primary focus is hang out with these little streamers that manage to behave pretty well. So if you have any ideas, that'll give us a great reason to hang out.
Thanks, Donna.
Thank you all very much. I'd like to thank Donna for this. I thought it was so good.
don't forget to vote.
Thanks for your time, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks for helping us set up decorations, Corey. Anybody put some water on?
If you ever meet another pepper, they're either directly related to like Joe Cooper or his brother from Minnesota. Otherwise, that's the name of the family ties from the Cooper Institute or Cooper.
Folks, how you doing? Good. My name's Rives Twp Candidates. And I wanted to hear if you want to wait. Here's a pamphlet.
See you guys. Well, I should say you girls.
You know.
Carol? How are you?
I'm Joe Bass. Nice to meet you. Who are you? Oh, okay. Hi. Oh, nice to meet you. Yeah, this is before. It's like, I know you know who I am, but I cannot say girl who you are. Like your name is like oh the other day.
We're trying.
Where you guys at?
You're over here, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm like I don't want you to clear one. Yeah, no.
We've been there about. Oh, okay. I love it. We're really great by the post office,
I'll come
right?
back another.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, I know Jeff that works at the meat market.
How pink is that? Oh,
Yeah.
you make it more pink then. I don't think there's anything in the ordinance that says it can't. I don't think we have any specifications about pink color. I really want to. I really want to. Jeff said no, like each ticket and their color. Pink for it. Long pink, but. That's nice meeting you.
You guys around, take care.
You guys did a great job being relatively quiet. Thank you so much. I promised everybody candy bars after the later, including Jacob's family.
Including me.
Sure. Let's bring it back to a community. That's the goal, right? That's our goal.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, show up at the meeting. See you again.
Oh, don't worry. It's really neat. There's lots of space and trees behind it.
We're moving board meetings into board parks. Bring your friends, bring your pets.
Oh, we have board meeting bingo?
Yeah, the board meeting bingo. Nice. All right, you see y'all. Thank you.
Oh, believe me, there's a drinking game too. We just have reason. What's wrong?
I'm cringy.
Is he stealing our child? What's going on? You know what? Hey, slightly ask right here. Thank you.
I don't even look for yours. Atlas. Atlas habit.
Come here.
Did you need a drink, dude? You already have one?
I think the kids have drank half of them. Oh, right here. Invisible. See-through balloon. It's over here somewhere. He's been dying for it.
Isn't it cool? That's my favorite.
A balloon? That's nice. Which one do you want? Go ask Donna in the blue shirt if you can have a wrestling stick. Yeah, with the stars on her shirt. Go ask Donna if you can have a wrestling stick.
Okay, can you take it out to different? Oh, grab your stuff, yeah. Thank you, sweetie. Whoa. What are you doing, bud? We're gonna have to invite them over to the house so we can get candy and everything. At some point, sitting on it, see if Jacob likes it.
That one might be hot.
It's got my dog. Okay, baby, I cannot. No,
Oh, look, baby. Oh, no, he got it. Yay.
So, do you guys want to come around for a minute, eat some candy, and run around for a second? Because I'm hoping
You're welcome.
Oh, it's a little bit dainty, but yes, it got the job done. Hopefully. You want me to eat? He's over here. Alright, he was talking to me a second ago. He's trying to, catch a couple people real fast. But
Everybody was super chill. Thank you.
how you doing?
Reggie, we can get a different balloon. Let's not have a balloon fight.
Yes, I will, yes, we will get some for everybody.